everyone. Welcome to this afternoon's after school club for ages 6 through 10. On Mondays, we are doing design exercises or designing games or other things with Flow Lab or other products. If you've never been with us before, this is part of DoSpace's after school club. Looks like I was hearing myself twice there. If you've never seen anything before, you can always go to DoSpace.org, search after school in here. And in here you can see the themes: Mondays, student designers, coding, for Tuesdays, makers, for Wednesdays, and so on. If you ever missed anything previous weeks, you can always go to Activities Archive and look at the different days you've missed. So today we're continuing on with our little game making series of Flow Lab. If you never used Flow Lab before, you can always look at past videos and see, learn how to do the basics through there. We just finished making our platformer from the previous weeks, and today we're making our space game. So we're starting a new genre here, and then next week we're going to do our top-down game. So today we're going to make a game like this. I'm going to do play. Oops. I made my little spaceship too fast here. Let me edit this for a little here. There we go. Play. So now we got this little spaceship, and I made mine shoot cats. And we can fly around in space, pointing at the mouse and doing different things. I made it slower so it's easier to see what's going on here. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead. It opened a new window on a different tab. It's just kind of fun. I'm looking over there. I'm like, why is it over there? Okay. Gonna do it over here. Search Flow Lab. I have a little thing at the top here blocking things. There we go. So I just went to flowlab.io. I'm gonna go to my games. Also, if you have any questions or need to see anything again, I'm very happy to do that. You can just say so in chat. I can stop and do another thing again. So here we are. This is again the same thing from the previous week. So I'm just going to go click on New Game. And then I'm waiting for it to finish loading here. Here we go. I'm going to do an empty project. We did the Flow Lab tutorial in the very first week. Look, okay, and here we are. We are in our game project. So we can always do the basics of level 4 first. I'm going to change my settings, and I can do that by clicking on settings on the lower right, right here. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. I'm going to rename my game Space Game. I'm going to name it ages for 6 through 10 specifically, because I just did this for the older group a little bit ago. And then I'm going to make my room wide. I'm going to shrink it down later, but I'm going to make it big for now. You can always go back and change the size. Click OK. Here you go. And how do we change the background color? Does anyone remember how to do that? If you've seen it from previous weeks, you can try typing or chat if you've done it from the previous weeks. So how do we change the background here? Do I click anywhere to create something? Do I click on layers? Library? Play? Play didn't get me anywhere. Again. So what do we want to do? If you don't know, let's click on game levels right here. There we go. And then we click on this little square right here. Circle it several times. And then we get a little thing to change the color. And you can just click anywhere on here. I'm going to do like a dark blue for space. And you just click OK. Good. And now we got a dark blue background right here. And I want to decorate this bit. So remember the star pickups collectibles we did from the last week? I'm going to use those as decoration. So you can click anywhere to create an object and click create. There's type. I'm going to name it star. And then I'm going to click on physics because I'm using this decoration, so I don't want to run my ship into it or anything. So I'm gonna click on physics. And this little part that says it's solid, I'm just gonna click on that, on checks, and it's just gonna be a decoration for me now. But I don't want a block like that. Does anyone remember how to change the image here? If you thought, edit sprite, that's correct. So I'm gonna edit sprite. And then the lower left over here, I'm gonna click browse. And then select category. I'm gonna do pixel objects. If you want to draw your own star in here, you can do that, or space or moon if you want to do that. But I'm gonna hover down a little bit. There's go star. Here's my star. And then I click OK when I'm done. And there's my star. I can left click and place it anywhere if I want. So if you wonder how to duplicate this around instead of recreating over and over again, you can just left click on this and you get this little menu, and then there's clone. And click on that. And I'm just gonna decorate my space. And stars around everywhere. Again, if you have any questions, let me know. If you want to see something again, I could do that too. I know why I'm putting stars outside of the square here. It's because I'm gonna later on let my player fly around a bigger space. To done cloning, click on done cloning in the bottom right here. There we go. Got a bunch of stars. So what do you think we need next? What do we need next? We're missing something big here. What are we missing? Do you think said player or thought ship or something along those lines? You're right. We're missing a spaceship. So I'm going to do next is again, I'm going to click anywhere. There we go. Create. Type. I'm just going to name them ship. And then I'm going to edit sprite right here. But there's a problem. I look through all these example images. I look through all of them here. There's no spaceship. No spaceship to be found at all. So if you're wondering how to include your own art on here, made from another program or art in general made somewhere else, you could always, you know, like I could like erase everything in here and then start drawing my own spaceship if I wanted to do that. You know, like try to make my own in here, or I could go to a website called opengameart.org and search for spaceships there. So if you didn't know, there's actually, like if you grab, like save images offline anywhere, a lot of those images may have been made by someone else and they might make money off of those images. If someone finds like that picture in someone else's game or something and you didn't buy it from them, you might get in big trouble. Not happen, doesn't happen very often, but that might happen. So there's a website called opengameart.org that lets you use art from here for free. And it has this thing called a license, a creative commercial free license that lets you use it without paying anything for them. It's mostly used for educational reasons, learning how to do stuff. So in here, I'm just gonna, on the search right here, do spaceship. You don't have to use this website. You can just use Google Images and search spaceship, as long as you're not like, you know, selling it in the game, you're fine. But I'm just using this, showing you guys this resource. And then I see a spaceship right here. I see another one right here too. I'm gonna click on this one so you can find like your favorite spaceship in here. And this one, I'm okay with that one. If I click, there's a little thing that says files right here. If I click on it, it saves it to my computer. And go back to FlowLab. I'm gonna erase these right here. And there's this little thing that says upload in the lower left, right here. If I click on it, click choose file. And mine saved it to my downloads folder, so you want to make sure you save it somewhere easy to find. I click open, click OK, and there's my spaceship right here. There you go. I could, edit it if I want. There's like this little grid thing on the left side right here. It changes the square size. It's kind of hard to see in the preview I'm showing. I may be able to see it easier if you play with it. And then I do have all this extra space right here. Again, it's kind of hard to see, but there's like this little square box right here for the boundaries of my Earth. If my ship crashes into like an asteroid or something on this area, it's going to count as a hit, even though my art didn't touch that at all. And that can get really confusing to our players. So I'm going to fix this grid by clicking the left side, the very last button right here. If I click on it, nothing really changes. Like I can, oops. No, if you accidentally erase anything, you could upload the image again. It doesn't have an undo for some strange reason. There we go. I'm gonna click on the tool again. But if you click anywhere in here, it doesn't do anything. But this little bar shows up at the bottom of our screen right here. So click on it, it extends the size of our image. And of course, I accidentally cut off my ship a little bit here. I'm gonna upload that thing one more time. There we go. And then I can use this right here, hopefully not too, too much. Okay, can I change? Yeah, but I was able to make it, change the size of it. I'm gonna upload this again. Click OK. Still got extra space here. Another thing I could do this to fix it is if I grab this tool right here, movie tool, and I can move my ship around. I wonder if it's based on grid size. No, it's not. There we go. That's close enough. Even though there's extra space in here, I could make my spaceship a little bit bigger, but it's so small. It's all right. This program here doesn't let you really edit the grid, but just try to get as center as you can. Make sure there's not too much extra space around. There you go. So now I have my spaceship. There it is. And play. Nothing happens. What do we need to do next? Probably make it move. So as designers, you want to think about how your players are interacting with the game, with movement and other things. Have you ever played a game with a controller before? You have like a little stick that you can move around to get your character to run to a bunch of different places. Or there's other games where like you have a thing that's always moving and you just press the like little thing called D-pad. That's like a little button so you move left to the right. It kind of like swivels around. So as designers, you want to think about how you want the game to feel when your like player moves around. And a game where there's gravity, like our platforms we did before, you're probably just, standard, use any key to move whatever direction. But if you're in a spaceship, it's probably always moving. You want to have the feel like you're in a spaceship and you're like driving it around, like after a certain speed, it kind of like moves and kind of like floaty turns around, a bit. So we want to make it always move. And then we can either use our keys, depending on how you want to do this as designing. Like, do you want your players to use a controller or buttons to move things? You can also use our mouse to move things too. I'm going to use my mouse to move my spaceship. So it feels more like a floaty spaceship, like flying through space instead of like a very stationary movement where it's kind of like rigid going forward or back. So I'm gonna make that floaty feeling happen based on when it's pointing the direction of my mouse, where it's pointing at it and following my mouse. So that gives us that very nice floaty feeling. We always want to think about when we're designing games how you want things to move, how you want things to interact with other things, how you want things to jump, how you want things to fight if you're doing a fighting game, or various other things like that. So we're going to go ahead. I'm going to click on my spaceship here, and I'm going to click Edit back in here, and I'm going to click Behaviors like we usually would, but instead of Behaviors, you can always exit out if you already click on Behaviors. I'm actually going to go to Physics first. So there's Physics. And I'm going to click on that. It's solid. I'll make it movable. Not affected by gravity. This is a space game. There's no gravity. And I'm going to enable rotation. There we go. So it's movable, solid. It rotates. And there's this little part right here that says forward direction. So forward direction is direction that it's moving in. If it's right, my spaceship's going to be sideways. It's going to move by its wing. We want to move it based on where it's pointing. So you look at a picture, look at which part is the front. For mine, my front part is the top. So I'm going to move my forward direction to up. So it moves my image based on the top part right here. Click OK. Click back on my spaceship, edit. Now I'm going to behaviors here. So as we learned before with behaviors, it's logic that get us moving. So if I'm moving this based on mouse movement, like pushing my mouse around, it moves. What do I need to click to activate that? Look on the left side here, it says triggers. We've done keyboards based in the past. There's mouse click, and all these other things. So here, as designers, you can always think, how are players interacting with their game to do stuff? So you can always look in triggers to find that stuff. So we got mouse move right here. You can click on that. There's mouse move. And then I want it, like, as my mouse move my mouse, I want my spaceship to face my mouse. So there's a thing here that's called point at. That's our number where it is. Yeah. So if you go on the left side here, go down to components. There it is, components. And then there's a thing called point at. I just left click here. It's point at. And then, as I said before, the X is the left and right movement. Y is top and down movement. So I'm going to connect to X, Y to Y. And then I'm going to click my little play test button on the lower left. There you go. It's facing my mouse. It's not moving anywhere, but it's facing it. See? Turn my mouse in circles and turning. So the next thing that I do here is got to get my spaceship moving. How do we do that? Based on looking at the tools we have. You might remember what we've done from the previous weeks with our platformer. So if you thought of doing a keyboard thing with some numbers, you're kind of on the right track there. But remember I said before, we want our spaceship always moving to feel like you're flying through space all the time and you're working more towards moving, turning things around. Think about the word just there, always moving. So there's a little trigger right here. It's called always. I'm gonna left click on that. There's always. And then now we're gonna add the things that we remember from our platform movement. So I'm gonna do a little minor here. Remember we grabbed numbers. So with the logic math number, there it is, to get our speed in here. And even though we have a number in there, it's not going to do anything. We need to set that number into another thing called velocity. And that's under components. No, it's under properties. So you go to properties, there's velocity. Click on that right in there. So we got our other steps here. We got always, number, and then velocity. We can do the same thing again. We can hook things together. Remember output, input. Output is things that we see, like from our computer or hearing sounds. So this is always outputting, always. Cool battery power. And that is activating a number right over here. So we take that end to input. And we take the number output to forward. The thing that's different from the previous weeks is that when we press a key on left, we have it move to the left with the X value going to negative, and then positive in the X value going to the right, positive value. And then for jumping, we did like a Y value, but here we just need forward. So it's always moving the forward direction of our spaceship, which we set to up. But right now it's 0. This number here is how fast we want our ship to go. And us designers can always change how we want the speed to be. We will have to practice plane testing over and over again to get to speed we want, changing every time. You can set it to really fast or really slow, but we always want a number that's comfortable for a player. To feel like, if you want to make it super fast, like your racing ship, you want to do that. We also want to make it where it's controllable, easy for the player to react to what's going on. Or it could be like a slow carrier ship carrying some cargo or something. It's got to make delivery. But you want to, make it really easy to turn things around because it's got to land somewhere really easily. So I'm just going to set this number to 8 for now. We can always go back and change it. And there we go. Now I'm going to test it. And we got our ship moving around now. And it feels very floaty, like the way I wanted it. Yeah, and you can always design it another way. I'm just showing you guys another way to design your game with different movement. So how can we make this more interesting? Probably we can do like add maybe a few things around, for us to shoot at. Like we're in space fighting meteors or something. Let's do that. Let's add some things we can shoot at, Yeah, let's do that. Let's stop that there. So, you know what I just said there? Add something. So we need to create another thing, of course. So I'm just going to click OK. And we'll have to get exit out of it. And I'm just going to left click anywhere to create. I'm going to create another block. I'm just going to name it a block. I could search a meteor online, the internet, but I'm just going to stick with the block what we have here. I'm going to edit sprite. I'm going to click browse. And just choose a pixel block and choose whatever you want. I'm specifically going to choose, oh, my lights are off again. Hold on, let me fix that. Okay, here at DSpace, we have lights automatically turn off after no movement for a while to save energy. And I'm at a spot where the light sensor can't detect me. Okay. So I have blocks here, but there's specific blocks in here that break after hitting them for several times. I'm going to use one of these. There we go. Okay. Oh, I forgot to do something. I'm going to edit. So I haven't showed you guys animation at all yet. I've showed it to the older group. I haven't showed it to the younger group yet. So there's this thing right in the image editor. It's like this little button with the film strip on it. I left click on it. I get this new bar at top right here. It says pick animation. I'm going to pick animation, create new. Got to name it. I'm going to name this breaking because it's breaking the block. Okay. And then I have like this little plus and minus button, like right here. If I click on the plus right there, it creates like another image in there. So picture these as frames. And then click browse down here, select category, go back to where we found our block. Right now I'm doing the breaking. There we go. So notice this is a breaking image now, but if you look up here, it's got 2 images in here now. So I'm going to click the plus again. And I'm going to click in the middle one here. There we go. So it breaks. So if you click on the play button, like right about here, play, you can see it's playing animation. You can also see in the preview in the upper left right here. So I'm going to make it where you hit it several times, it breaks. Here we go. We got a good animation going here. Click OK. Of course, it's not going to show up in here at all, but we're going to fix that later. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to behaviors for this. And I'm going to do things once, because I only need this to happen once, where, actually, no, that's not right. Sorry about that. If you want to delete it, you can left click and delete it. I want my block, so thinking designer, what do you want a block to do? I want my block to destroy itself when it gets touched by something else. But I don't want it to happen to my ship. I want my ship to take damage whenever it hits this block right here. So I want my ship to destroy when I go through this. Here, we're kind of missing some things first before we do anything. So I'm going to exit out of that. I'm going to go to my ship. And then I'm going to go to edit. And in behaviors. And here, this is where I'm going to add that once. Not once, sorry. Why am I thinking once? Collision. We talked about collisions before, where if one thing touches another thing, something happens. So I'm doing collision here, where this hits my block, it destroys itself. Looking for destroys under components. So components, destroy. There we go. Touch. And then test. There's my ship. And
log into the laser cutter.
I ran into that. My ship got destroyed right in here. Probably going to switch this number down to 4 now. I'm going to stop, play. Here's my ship. I go in this direction right here. It got destroyed. There we go. That's what I want. Now I want to do something where I can fight back with a block, destroy a block so I don't get stuck anywhere. So we can do that by creating a bullet that shoots, out. So we click anywhere, we got to create our bullet. And how you think about, again, you got to think about how you want to design this. Do you want to have it where it's just coming out everywhere and just showing up? Or do you want to press a button to make a thing appear? And again, you have to think about everything when you're designing games, like every single aspect, because you're designing it to do different things. So what I want is my bullet. When I press the button, my bullet shows up in front of my ship, and it's always moving forward based on the direction of my ship. So moving forward, and then when it collides with a block, it breaks. That's what will happen. Okay, so let's try that. Good, you have to think about every single little aspect here. So I'm just going to click anywhere and create, and this will be my bullet, or my laser, the one we're doing the lasers, the edit sprite, browse, and I'm going to have my spaceship shoot cats. Or we're going to be mushrooms, or grass. I'm going to do characters. There we go, cats, or dogs, or bats. I'm going to have it shoot bats. Okay, here's my bat. And then this bat right here, I want to have it whenever it touches the block, the other thing destroys itself. So, but before I do that, I need to get this to fly, like it starts here and it just moves out based on if I press the button. And maybe thinking, maybe I have to go to the bat and edit behavior through here to get it to do that. But actually I'm spawning it from my spaceship, something to do with my spaceship. So it's actually from my spaceship and edit behavior. Move this around so you can see. So think about it, are we gonna press the button? Is this gonna happen over time? I'm gonna have it where I press the button. So I'm gonna do mouse click. And then there's this thing called emit. Let's go to components, there's emit, click on emit. Emit. If you don't know what a thing is, you can always click on it, get a menu, click on what's this to get information about what it is. Emit block spawns new temporary objects into your game and sends them moving in a specific direction. That's exactly what we want. So on the menu here, emit, object to emit. I'm doing my bullet, which is my bat. And I want it to rotate, based on what I'm, pointing at. Expire after 10. Expires after 10 frames. So these games usually run 60 frames per second. So 10 is really short. So you want this probably to run around 60. So be after 1 second disappears. Actually, I'm going to bring it up to 120, so 2 seconds. And then I'm going to click OK. And how the mouse works right here is down is when I click a button. Up is when I'm not like unclicking, like as I let go with my finger off the click. Over is like mouse over, if I'm like hovering over something, and out is output, if I want to get a number from my mouse. If I left click on here, there's actually more options. You can do left click or right click. And if there's a thing that says capture clicks anywhere, I'm going to check that off. If I didn't have that checked off, I have to click specifically on my ship to get two things. So that would be like for buttons in your game, where you want to click on the specific object. And since I want it to be happening is when I click down, like press the button down on my mouse, I'm going to left click, bring it over to emit for emitting. You know, and then test. And look, there's my bats, but nothing's really happening here. They're not really moving. So I need to fix something here. Can we stop that? So I could go to my bat and add speed to it, just like we did with our spaceship, where it's always 4 number near. But the emitter here actually has an option for force. The force is movement. They bring that up to like 10. Play. Oh, it's not moving. Probably need to do something else here. What else do we need to do here? We need to go back to our bat here, edit, physics. We need to make it movable. Right now, it's not movable at all. So I'm gonna make it movable. Not affected by gravity or in space. Don't need to worry about that. Enable rotation. I'm actually gonna make it not solid so I don't get stuck by it. I'm gonna do enable collisions though. For direction, I'm going to go with up. Right there. Click OK. Back to my spaceship. Edit. OK. Oh no, sorry. Edit. Behavior. Test. There we go. Now I have my bats flying out from my spaceship here. I'm going to bring this down to like a 6. You can change the number however you want. You want to make it super fast or super slow? It's up to you as a designer. I'm going to delete this bat here now because I don't need it. You don't have to worry about it going away permanently. It's always down here in your library. It exists. Here's a little bat right there. Okay. So what's the next thing we got to do here? Probably make this right here disappear when you shoot at it. Because right now it just hurts us and that's it. So I'm going to click on my block right here. Here we go. And then edit behavior. And then once. Not once. I don't know why I keep going back to once. Collision. So this is taking a hit. So when this hits my bat, and I go to opponents, destroys itself. Connect and test. There you go, destroy itself. That's kind of boring. Just kind of goes away. You know, I shoot at it, nothing much happens, you know. So remember the animation did how it broke over time? We're going to make it where when it gets hit, it breaks. So you guys never saw this before, but the older group saw this. If you go to logic over here, there's a thing called filter. Now you don't have to understand how this works. You can just do what as I do, but filter is like an if statement. If statement is things in programming where if this happens, do that. So if I turn the switch on, then the light turns on. So this here, if this gets hit, then let's change our animation to this. But this space is on a number. You see this right here, it says greater than 0. So it's based on a number happens. So I want to make this have like 2 hit points. So it hits once, it breaks, and gets hit again, then it gets destroyed. So I'm going to grab a number. There it is. So when it's hit, I'm going to go input here. So as hit, it takes a number. And then, nope, sorry. I'm going to do plus. So this plus right here, hit plus. Hit here, adds. So every time it takes a hit, it adds 1. You can always add other numbers like a 2 in there to make it add 2 every time, but I'm going to do 1. So hit adds 1. And then it goes in here. So when this is greater than maybe Get to, I'm gonna do it 2 times, it gets destroyed. But when it doesn't get destroyed, I'm gonna have it play animation like it's breaking. And that I can do by going to properties. There's the animation left side right here. There we go. So when fail, I'm gonna start the animation. It's already on my breaking animation that we created earlier. But I'll show you what happened next. So here we go. Play. It breaks. Oh, wait, it went back to a clean Brock. What's up with that? What's up with that? No. And then actually break this straight into one. The reason why for that is because it went off 3 times. So, and I want to, have to shoot it twice a break. You can always change the number how you want it. But on this fail over here, if I click on this, I have this option to stay in last frame when done. Click OK, play. Nope, it didn't do it. I forgot to click OK. Oops, I should have shot once. There we go. And it breaks. There we go. Get our game. So the last thing we want to do here is just decorate our space with blocks of how we want to set it. And maybe, go around and change our numbers. This is still kind of going slow for me. So I just go to edit behavior, make this like a 7, test it to see how I like the movement. My bullet's kind of slow. My bat. I'm gonna change this to like 9, test. That's the speed I like. As a designer, you can set the speeds whatever you want, just based, on how you want it to feel to play a game. Okay, so now I'm gonna move, I'm gonna clone this block around. So maybe I start in a cage and I have to break out. Yeah, flying around, and if I crash anything, it breaks. Play again, but I shoot, see how it's breaking the blocks in there. I shoot around and I'm free. There we go. We've made our space game here. Of course, you can design how you want. Maybe you're breaking out something. You could, learn up next coming weeks, to learn to spawn things, or more things. You could make it where a thing is spawning and moving like these little meteors around, and you have to go around and shoot them. Try to get like a certain amount of points before you win. But yeah, we're just gonna learn the basics here with movement and such. So if you have any questions, you can ask them. Otherwise, we are actually done. We've got our spaceship done. The next week, we are going to do a top-down game. What a top-down means is that you can see your character from an above view, and they can walk around like on grass or someplace, kind of like a Legend of Zelda game. And yeah, it's kind of like an RPG. We can move around, maybe collect some objects, talk to people, stuff like that. So that's what we're going to do next week. We're making a top-down RPG. Otherwise, if you don't have any questions or anything like that, you may go ahead, enjoy, making a game or enjoy the rest of your day. So that is it for today. Thank you for everyone and have a good afternoon.